right, three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brewmaster's Draft, the show where we talk a little bit about Dota and a little bit about beer. I will be your host, Flubb, and as always, I am joined today with my co-host, Kimbrell. Kimbrell, how you doing today?
I am okay. We kind of discussed what happened with me today. Mainly, I've been lightheaded most of the today. I had some nosebleeds from like when I woke up until about noon. Pretty gross. I'm not sure why. So I had my blood pressure checked while I was at work, and it's not like perfect, but it's not bad. So I don't fully understand what happened there, but besides that, it's been a long week. It's been a good week. Tuesday was my birthday and, America's birthday. And,
Oh man, happy birthday!
Yeah.
Dang it, Kimbrell, I could have done something. It was 4th of July. I didn't even realize. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, so I did most of my celebrating over the weekend. We went up to my stepmom and dad's farm and shot off our own fireworks up there and drank a little and had a little fun. And after that, we came home, and Monday I went to work. Tuesday, I took my wife to work for like an hour. They had like a little cookout thing that I kind of had to show up to, but that was it. So after that, we went house shopping and took a nap and watched some fireworks. That was what consisted of my birthday. That's what my birthday consisted of. Was a little bit of work, some naps, house shopping, and fireworks. So
yeah, that's a pretty good birthday, man. It's a pretty good birthday.
It's one of the more relaxing birthdays that I've ever had. So
I love sleep, man. So firstly, that sounds like a perfect day to me. So getting in a couple naps is great. But no, that's cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad you had a good birthday.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. As you know, we've been playing a little bit. I mean, you joined us. We played a little bit of that. What was it? The Warhammer game, the Vermintide. That was a lot of fun this week, and we've kind of been exploring out a little bit different things. I've been playing some games on stream, so it's been a lot of fun doing that. And I'm excited to finally get this stuff kind of start to figure it out. I still haven't gotten all of the podcast section of it all quite done yet. I was kind of looking stuff around, and we need to add more money here and there, and with the help of our new Paterons, we are definitely good. So we will be able to, kind of move forward with things there, and I'm excited to do that. So mostly this week has just been focused on that, right? We've been focused on trying to get more going, trying to do a lot more setup. So it's a slow process, but it's a good process, and I'm excited to see what we have in store for us next. So, without further ado, what are you drinking today, Kimbrell?
Okay, so over the weekend, my stepmom was raving about some drink being back, and I was just like, okay, cool. And it's a quote unquote girly drink, whatever, those older guys give you crap for drinking like a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something like that. Like, oh, that's a girly drink. So I'm not typically a big fan of these. However, I had a sip of one over the weekend. I was like, I'll give that a try. Actually, I'll just have it on my show. Why not? So it's called Zema. I guess it was like crazy back in the 90s. And the biggest thing was you drop a Jolly Rancher in it. So I bought a bag of Jolly Ranchers, and one of these, it's a citrus beverage, is what it says on it. Refreshing citrus beverage, and you're supposed to drop a Jolly Rancher in. So I decided to try it. I've got green apple, and I've got blue raspberry or blueberry, one of those, and then watermelon going on. So
I feel like I've watched a few 90s shows, man, and I feel like that they would drink Zema and they would give people crap about it. So I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm fully prepared to receive all kinds of crap for drinking this, but I was just like, that's interesting that you can like do your own flavor type thing. So I found it interesting. Like I said, I typically don't drink these kind of drinks. I'm more of a just a straight beer, which or whatever, whether it's an ale or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I figured I'd give it a try. A little change up, a little something different. So
Sometimes that's what's important. It's not
yeah,
necessarily good to drink the sugary drinks. The sugary drinks are the ones that give me the biggest hangovers. So, I mean, we're not drinking. So, I mean, we're just having a couple, and it's not that big a deal. So, it's not like we're gonna get hangovers either way. So, it's a good thing to sip on some maybe. Um, what I'm drinking on a Samuel Adams Bohemian Pilsner. I've had plenty of Sam Adams. My neighbor once again was like, "Hey, we traded beers this week." I was like, "Hey man, I liked these beers. I had this past week on my show. It was really good." And he was like, "Hey, I got some beers that I don't really like, so we'll do a quick trade." And it's pretty good so far. I mean, it's the normal Sam Adams. If you like pilsners, and it's a little crisp and hoppy, but that's kind of the problem right now that I'm having. It's like got that hoppy flavor for something that's really not that pack of jeez punching. I'm losing my words here, and that's not good at this point. So it loses its packful punch. You get what I'm saying though, right?
yes.
sorry, but anyway, it's not as strong, and if I'm gonna suffer through some hops, I want to have it at least hit a little bit harder on the first like swig. So, it's a little disappointing so far, but we'll see how it feels by the end of this draft. So I am out of this draft. I'm gonna be reacting this week. It is up to Kimbrell on this one. Kimbrell, let's switch it over to the draft. You got anything special planned this week? I have any.
Yeah, actually, I do. Hopefully, I can get away with it, but we will see. Let me create a room real quick, and I'll get you your number. While this is happening, Vermintide, dude, that game was a lot of fun.
Yes, that is. I've been wanting to play it for over a year now, and I'm glad that you guys decided to play it with me. Joe Schmo, shout out to him. He was like, "Yeah, I'll play that game with you," and I got Kimbrell in, and Fafnir joined in, so it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to do that again.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the room number is 5089.
5089. All right, joining up. Yeah, and that game too was for those of you who don't know what Vermintide is, it's basically Warhammer, like not like Space Warhammer, but Warhammer, Left 4 Dead. That's like the best way to describe it. It's a lot of fun. It's a co-op campaign style game that you're running through and being like fantasy style fighting versus Ratman, and it's a lot of fun.
It reminded me kind of like it's a lot like Left 4 Dead, but a way I explained it to my wife was like she's really into Borderlands, and I was like, it's kind of like Borderlands. I mean, it's not open world like Borderlands is, but it's still pretty darn cool. I mean, you have missions and all that stuff, and you have a different character to choose from and all that. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Do I give you the choice, or I think if I choose, you get first pick, and you want first pick, right, for this draft, or you want second?
Second. I think second pick.
Okay. And you want Radiant or Dire, so we can kind of figure this out?
That doesn't matter. We just do it. Either one's fine.
All right. I'm gonna pick the Radiant then. My win rate is, I think it's 10% higher on Radiant. So, gotta keep tried and true.
Okay, so okay, there we go.
All right, so we're starting off this draft right now. It's counting down, and the first ban is mine. I'm get first pick. I'm on Radiant, and we're gonna go with. Has to be reactive a little bit. I'm going to actually go with a ban on Kunka. Because right now Kunka's pretty popular. He's really good at team fight. He has a lot of potential, and I don't really want to play Jug right now. I don't really want to have Jug and Lifestealer, and that's the best way to stop him.
Okay, So I'm gonna go ahead and ban out Earthshaker. Kind of similar to last week. I feel like he's just a very popular pick. He can do a lot for you, and he's pretty hard to play against. Fissure is such a good spell. Everything he does right now is super strong. So
Very true. Very true. At this point, so he's banning Earthshaker, so we don't have to really worry about banning Clock, because Earthshaker won't be my first pick then. And that's like the best way you can set up with Earthshaker is you can have Earthshaker at the very beginning and then pick a clock and then ban a Clock out, and you've banned one of his major counters. So, looking at this, I am going to probably ban. I'm going to ban Sand King. Sand King has a lot of potential now. He's a great 4, a great 3. You can place him anywhere. Let's take out these flex picks for Kimbrell.
okay, you were just talking about him. I'm gonna ban the Clockwork. The hero's a pain in the ass. Whether he's a 4 or he's an off lane, he's just one of those heroes that I don't want to play against, especially as a support. So yeah, gonna ban that hero, get him out of there.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I have first pick here. I have a lot that I can do. I'm actually going to start this draft out with Shadow Demon. I like the potential of him right now. I think he's very strong. The buff that they gave to his first talent, giving him plus 10 strength, is really strong as a support. So, I'm going to pick him up.
All right. I'm going to first pick Jakiro. I feel like that hero still strong, whether it's mid in a certain situation or it's as a support or even sometimes off lane. It just depends on the lanes. But it's Jakiro's been strong for a little while now, and I think he's gotten a couple nerfs, right, with the newest patch. There was like a small nerf, but I don't think it's been anything that's like
it hasn't been anything too serious, no.
Yeah. Okay, and then my second pick, I'm going to go with an Underlord. The route into Jakiro Ice Path is pretty dirty, and I like the team fight potential. Also, it helps add to any pushing potential that I might want. So yeah.
Okay. Some pretty tanky heroes right now. Honestly, I would normally never do this, but he has 2 very tanky heroes that are very magic dependent. So I'm going to pick up a Lifestealer to deal with that and have the Rage to get through. I also have, I can feast off of these 2 big fatties and just eat them all up. So.
Okay. I'm going to ban out the Night Stalker. It's just another hero. Annoying like the other 2 heroes that I've picked. It's just annoying to play against right now.
It's true. It's true. I'm going to ban out a Razor because the best way to stop a Lifestealer is to make sure that he doesn't do any damage.
That's a good point. I don't know if I would have. I mean, I probably would have picked him, but Razor picks 2 weeks in a row. Oh man. Okay, I'm going to ban. I'm actually not sure who I want to ban here. I'm going to ban Sniper, I believe.
Okay.
Going high ground versus that hero sucks. And currently I have no way to jump on him. And we're going to be pushing decently well. So I don't necessarily want to push up into that. So
I gotta do it. I don't necessarily want to, but there's no way I can purge Lycan's ultimate at this point, and I have no real catch for him. So with the push that Kimbrell has just said, I need to stop the availability of having that potential push.
Alright, next hero is going to be Luna.
Luna.
Yeah, I feel like she's kind of fallen out of meta. She's not as strong as a few other heroes, but Yeah, that's who I'm picking.
I okay.
I know the Shadow Demon can take her illusions and kind of push back,
Oh yeah.
essentially, and he can farm with it. But I have an idea that I wanted to stick with, and I'm going to be stubborn and stick with it, even with the Shadow Demon. So.
All right, all right. Hmm. Okay. I'm going to answer with a classic combo. Everyone knows that this is probably coming, but I'm going to go for... Oh! Okay, good. I thought I banned it. Sladar. It didn't register for a second, and I freaked out.
Dude, I thought you were like saying like I'm gonna go with Sladar. I was like, all right.
Thought I was doing showmanship, but no, I was just freaking out.
Okay, so I originally thought about doing Shadow Shaman. I'm not quite sure if I want to do that right now. I feel like Shadow Shaman there's 2 disruptions there. So his shackles aren't great, especially if Slardar prioritizes his stun right, or Shadow Demon can get a disruption off. So I'm not quite sure who your mid is yet. This puts me in a tricky situation. I'm probably gonna go. Man. Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, if I could find a hero. All right. I'm gonna go with AA. This hero stays in the back of most team fights. If he's ever up in your team fight, like in the middle of it, he's going to die. And an AA, like a Dazzle or other similar heroes, shouldn't be in the middle of a team fight. So I knew I was going to have a weak support at the 5 or the 4. So that's a big reason why I banned the Night Stalker and the Clockwork is dealing with that as an AA is really tough. But if Sladar gets to blink off onto him, AA just dies. So I'm just kind of banking on my last pick here.
Ooh. All right. So he's gonna have an availability because he had second pick. He's gonna have an availability to counter whatever I have, and because Sniper's already banned out on the field, and we don't know his mid potential at this point, I need to pick up my mid. So I'm actually going to pick up an OD right here, just because a Sniper has been banned out. That's a really good counter for him, and it would like make his team whole at that point. Whereas I don't know if he can do it with the other counters for OD, and there's a lot of availability for what's going to happen next.
Okay, so either you're going Sladar support or off lane. And you don't have a whole lot of team fight besides Sladar stun and OD. The rest is kind of single target, unless you want to count Lifestealer's ult as like a team fight burst thing, I guess. I'm going to ban out another offlane hero, but I'm not quite sure which one. Okay, I'm actually just going to ban this out. Not that it provides a little tidbit of team fight. I just know that that's something that Bristle back is something I won't be able to deal with very well, especially with the last pick that I'm picking, unless I decide to change it up. But I just don't want to deal with that hero either.
That is a very good. That is a very, very good ban because that's exactly what I was going to pick.
Okay.
Oof. Okay, so he still needs his mid. Problems versus OD. What do I not want to face if OD's there? That rounds out his team. There's not too much that I care about, but honestly, it looks like he's trying to go for a mega team fight, and it's not that I fear this hero matchup, but it's pretty even. I don't want him to have a Puck, so I'm gonna ban out Puck at this point. And I have another, and now it's my pick as well. So at this point, I'm thinking about different things, and I don't necessarily want to reveal it until after the phase. But I have a plan for this, guys, and you're going to have to trust me. So, where is it? I'm going to pick, okay, there it is, Brewmaster. And I'll talk a little bit about it here in a bit, but there's an important thing about why I picked Brewmaster.
Okay. All right, my last pick, the thing that I thought of today that I've ran before and I found very fun. I'm gonna first let it surprise Flubb. I don't know if it's gonna be too much of a surprise, but
oh, owie. All right, was that mid then?
just wait.
Okay, all right. I think I see what Kimbrell's doing here. I think I see. So we're gonna have to validate these lanes.
Okay, so I'm Dire. So blue is off lane. Green for me would be safe lane. Okay.
Crap. Okay. So if that's the idea, then I want... Oh, man. Yeah, I still need to do that. Okay. Validating lanes. Alright, so I'm going to announce it real quick. Or, Kimbrell, actually, you want to do the honors this week?
Okay, yeah, sure. So on Flubb's team, we have Shadow Demon, Lifestealer, and a Brewmaster in the same lane, in the safe lane. And then we have a Sladar off lane and an OD mid. And then on my team, we have the Luna, AA, and CK. In the safe lane, the Underlord off lane, and the Jakiro mid. Brewmaster support. You're just going to max like Drunken Haze? Is that what you're doing to me?
Okay, so I'll explain my draft first, and then you can talk about yours. I actually thought that you were doing CK stun into that ridiculousness, and I was like, oh man, CK is going to be a support at the end. Once I realized, I like calmed down for a second, and it took me a while to figure out the lanes, but this is definitely what I'd have to do. So I pick up Brewmaster because, one, I actually really like him as a support now, and I like him as an offlane. He has a lot of variability, so I can pick him up, and especially versus these lineups that have a lot of kill potential and push potential. Because, okay, you can push on him, but he can then Brewling out and kind of force you to go back at that point. Hopefully you can get your Panda that is air can move really quickly, go invisible if you can micro it correctly, go up and lift someone up, bring your team around that point and force a fight. And if you look at Kimbrell's team, He has a really good team fight. He has really good push. He has a lot of potential, but he doesn't have a lot of counter initiation. So if I can set it up with the Brewling, then I can do a lot of work at that point. And there's a lot of other things that you can do with this draft. You can have either the Brewmaster team up with the Shadow Demon, or you can have a Sladar team up with the Shadow Demon and get easy kills across the map. The one thing that I'm going to be lacking on is push, but my late game potential is probably just as strong. I do have an OD to kind of deal with illusions. I have a lot of potential there, so I have some ways to kind of deal with his late game potential. And then this is what I'm thinking. So I want to keep mid safe, and I'm just going to give up my offlane. I'm going to say, okay, Luna's going to get mega farm, and it's going to suck, but I'm going to give it up. And my top is going to exist top, but I should have maybe put him on his roam, because basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to say, okay, give up that lane, let Luna farm, let her get like tier 1 tower, then go back to the tower and whenever she's trying to push up on the tier 2, try to farm out the wave from there. And that's why I kind of said top, because it's going to happen pretty quick with Jakiro and Luna. It may even be too quick. So I may have to rotate my supports over there. And that's the weakest part of this draft, is that if Kimbrell tries to push with all three of those guys, just says, okay, I'm going to take both of your tier 1 and tier 2, I don't have a lot stopping him at that point. But later on in the game, I have a lot of potential. I have a lot of different things that if I just trust in my team, then I think I can bring it over to my side. And the thing with Brewmaster support is actually you build him similarly to what you go in the off lane. So you want to pick up that first level of crit, because you can kind of use it like Ogre. And you can run up and just get an automatic crit on someone, and it does so much damage. Or what I prefer to do, and something that I don't know if you can really take advantage of, you can actually courier snipe with him. If he gets a crit on a courier, it automatically kills it. So he can just run up and do that while my Shadow Demon and Lifestealer are getting plenty of farm. So you can do that potential, hopefully invade, or if you don't want to pick up crit early, which you don't have to pick up, you don't have to wait the full seconds anymore, because it used to be you have to wait the 13 seconds. But if you pick it up, you immediately get the crit, so you can kind of wait on your ability, and you can then move over to going for your Q, your big slow. That big slow does a lot of damage, and it's going to keep people locked down with the illusions. So has a lot of potential for physical damage in general. And to be honest, a lot of people really don't respect Drunken Haze. Like you said, Drunken Haze is a very good ability, and you were saying, would you just max that? It's like, yeah, I actually don't max it. I actually go 2 points into your slow in the beginning. So you go 1 into your crit, 2 points into your Q, and then you want to start maxing your Drunken Haze at that point, because your damage is not going to be as great. It's like when you hit level 3 on any support, you can kind of start doing damage, but then you quickly fall off again, because you're just not going to get the levels that the cores are going to get. So you want to go back to Drunken Haze and make people miss during team fights and things like that. So that's my thought process on it. What's your draft? What's your plan for taking me down?
Okay, so you're talking about roaming the Sladar.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I found with off lanes that end up having to leave the lane is if the other team has heroes that can rotate well and just kill, it's kind of a wash, because then that offlane hero essentially might not even, or probably won't even get a kill mid or something like that. So you're going to have to farm the jungle or hope on a kill mid, and that the supports are slow reacting. But with Luna, she's able to farm by herself alone. And if a Sladar comes to lane under leveled after he leaves, and then the AA and CK leave to pull and stack and take runes, and then go mid if mid needs help, or go mid to kill this OD. One thing about the OD mid versus the Jakiro I've noticed is if I bring a gank mid and you trap yourself, you're like, oh shit, like I'm dead. Jakiro just lays down an ice path, and you just have to skill it once, and then you're just gonna ice path slow once he pops out, and then you just kill. So, and I don't. You have a save with you have two saves essentially. You have the Shadow Demon and the OD imprisonment. So Shadow Demon would have to come mid, and you would have to set it up correctly to help disengage or to engage. So, and I don't know, I'm sure you have seen it. CKAA, that roaming at level 2 is one of the scariest freaking things ever, because you just cold feet, then you stun, or you cold feet, pull, and stun, depending on how far away you are. And you time the stuns correctly where AA's cold feet stacks on top of the CK stun, and it's just an even longer stun. And then you have CK with that crit also hitting you, and then the chilling touch as well. So it's just it's a stupid combo, and it's actually been something that, as a team, back when I played and captain on the Devils, we went up against that, and it's just like, what do you do against that mid? We went up against that mid, and it was insane. I just never had seen it before. But anyway, the potential there as a roaming supports is crazy. So basically, I'm going to push, and I'm going to kill every single one of your heroes. Like that's my goal. Like, I am here to just kill you and push. I'm not here to farm all day or anything like that. So Luna is going to farm, and once she has enough farm, the team is going to push. And whether that's 4 pushing one lane while Jakiro pushes another, or the other 4 pushy lane while the Luna pushes another lane, or all together. But the split pushing capability is pretty high. The pushing as a team is pretty high, and then the team fight capability is pretty high. And so just going into items real quick, I was going to pick Shaman, but I decided against it. I explained that during the draft, and I picked AA instead. So with AA, he's going to be the 5 position. So probably not a Midas game, unless they just, get kills on kills, and he has the money by 15 minutes or something, just something absurd. It's probably going to be the typical Tranquils, Ward Bitch, maybe a Yules if you can afford it, or a Glimmer. Mm-hmm. And then with the Jakiro mid, it's going to be a Yules, a Veil, and then after that, you can go Shivas. I think Shivas would be good against this team. A lot of their team fight relies on hitting people and getting on top of people, so I feel like Shivas is pretty good. A Rod of Atos is okay versus all of them besides Lifestealer. Mm-hmm. The other two, there are saves on the team, but if you're running to disengage, a Rod of Atos is okay. On Underlord, I feel like Greaves is just kind of an obvious answer, and I was considering maybe going Pipe, but I don't necessarily need it versus your team. So I would probably go Greaves and then Blink to have some initiation, and then Blade Mail, or Blade Mail then Blink, either one. I think you can interchange those. And then the Luna, typical build. You go Treads, Dragonlance, Yasha, and Demanta, Pike, BKB, and then more damage if you need it. I just feel like that's a pretty good build.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Hold on.
Oh, what's up?
You cut out for a second there as you were describing that. You were like, yeah, Pike's pretty good, and then you just done. So just restate.
I was just saying that I just feel like it's a typical build. It's something that Luna usually goes. And then the CK I have going Aether, Lens, potentially. It depends. He's going to need Arcanes on this team. And you might actually need your AA to go Arcanes. It kind of depends on how you are on your mana regen, especially for your CK. Because that hero, his spells rely on a lot of mana. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have a large mana pool. So Arcane's probably on him, turned into an Aether. And then you can go Medallion or Drums, or both. But what I want with the CK is an Ags. I want an Ags at like 30 minutes or before. And so as a 4 position, he's going to need to farm. He's going to need to take those runes. He's going to need to, you know, get the kills that they're going to get when they're rotating and things like that. But CK Ags with Luna is essentially Shadow Demon. But more than 2 illusions.
I would say it's better because
it's better. It's better, but you like
longer build.
You have to farm it, right?
Yeah.
So it's but once he has that, the Ags by 30, I mean, and if it's by 30 minutes, and which I've done before as a 4 position CK, and you do rely on kills and taking the runes and things like that, but you're going to get kills with this team because you have the cold feet, you have the chilling touch, you have the stuns, you have the damage. So the AoE gold from assists or the kills, eventually you should have enough by 30 to 35 minutes for that Ags, and you should be able to just like manhandle their tier 3s and their barracks, and there isn't a whole lot you can do. Brewmaster can help prevent some of that with his Drunken Haze, obviously. I probably would go... does Manta get rid of Drunken Haze?
Manta, anything that purges gets okay. It. So that's the thing, is you can't really go late game, like too late game with Brew, because not only do you have the Manta, but you also have the potential of picking up Lotus Orbs as well. So
yeah, I was going to say I could pick up a Lotus Orb or the Manta and BKB, obviously, on Luna. So
though it does hit an area, my friend. And
it does, yes. So you want to save your Manta until it's something like that is used on you. So if you're pushing, you probably Manta, and then you would say that if you're pushing and CK uses his ult on Luna, and you've got all these Luna illusions hitting things, and then you use Drunken Haze, it's going to be a pain in the ass for a minute.
It's true.
But yeah, so that's what I've got going on. I thought of the CK roam / 4 position Ags pushing crazy thing. I thought of it a while ago and drafted it, and it actually went really well. It relies a lot on your CK, obviously. Not a lot, because you still have a lot of team fight capability. But if you're wanting to push that high ground and you're wanting to go like do the crazy like 6 or 7 Luna illusion thing, then the CK does eventually need his Ags, but it's not absolutely 100% necessary.
Well, the thing I'm seeing with your draft right now, the problem that I'm seeing is that it's not necessarily a problem. It might be something that's very fixable, but is your AA going to be you're saying he's going to be your ward bitch? His ultimate doesn't really do very much if he's in that position. So, like, what are you going to basically dump him and give him the potential of just being like a stun guy that can like help out the CK, and then possibly annoy the Lifestealer and help out where he doesn't necessarily get all that life back? Is that what your like plan is for him?
Basically, it's I want AA. I picked AA because of the CK. First of all, I just felt like the roaming was really good. Also, the chilling touch with the team fight. Like if we're pushing around 15 to 20 minutes, the chilling touch is going to do a crap ton of damage. So I picked it up mainly for the early game. Now, when CK does get items, say he goes Aether Lens and he decides, you know what, screw a medallion, screw drums, we're just going to go straight Ags. I feel like once CK gets that Ags, AA can just pick up the slack. So he can probably afford to go a Midas at that point, and CK can pick up some of those wards since he's going straight Ags, because that's the end goal with his items is that Ags, and eventually damage would be great on him, and the drums eventually would be great. But so I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say I'm dumping the AA, but I do want to say early game. Yeah, I mean he's not going to be. I wouldn't assume he would be getting a Midas unless something crazy happened, or unless you as a team decide, hey, let's go ahead and run CK as a 5, or hey, let's go ahead and have CK rush the Ags, and then we'll just go Midas on AA and figure it out from there, and have AA go Ags as well. But like I was saying, the chilling touch on top of the damage you already have into the pushing potential. Obviously, chilling touch doesn't work against towers, but it's the team fight damage that you have, plus the pushing potential early. And then by 30 to 35 minutes, you have the crazy pushing potential. And I don't know, by 16 minutes, like if this game goes for an hour, I'm not sure what's happening. I feel like you win with the Lifestealer OD. But I don't know. Like a Luna can't fight, like can't man up against a late game Lifestealer, I don't think. But if CK is able to start farming, because when CK uses the illusions and he gets like the Luna illusions and he gets kills with those, or he gets tower gold with those, or he can go farm with those illusions or something like that, it helps him farm like crazy.
It does.
So I feel like by 60 minutes, he should have pretty decent farm as well, and he could start fighting and manning up with his illusions against the Lifestealer. So, and his crit damage.
But your Jakiro does fall off at that point. Like
right. You're essentially trading heroes. Like your CK is rising up, and he should have damage by then. But then your Jakiro is falling off, and it's like, nah, okay.
Right.
So,
I understand. That's a really cool idea for a draft for sure. What I'm seeing, though, is that what I would suggest is maybe kind of going less greedy as an offlaner for Underlord. Maybe, like, have him pick up the wards. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you could do that for sure.
Like, not in the beginning, obviously, but...
Right. He could definitely pick up the slack. I mean, that hero doesn't need... and I don't know, maybe I might be wrong, but that hero doesn't need a whole lot to be effective. Like, he's effective from the start. Just with his aura, and then with the damage that he provides AoE, then the root. I mean, I feel like he's pretty effective from the get-go. And he farms pretty well. Like, if you're not getting any farm in the off lane, you can easily go to the jungle and tell creeps to get to your tower, and you can stack and do a lot with that hero, especially with the shrine right there and everything. So he should be able to pick up some wards at some point for sure.
Definitely. I'm also looking at this draft, though, man. I gotta say, like, I got some counterpoints to what you were saying before. I think that, so yeah, you definitely have a lot of availability, a lot of push on me, and you could really take out my towers. If I could hold tier 3s, though, which is going to be hard because that's the one thing I didn't draft. I didn't draft a lot of wave clear, and that is a serious problem. But I do have illusion cancel. With OD, I have a lot of potential there. His ultimate works wonders against an enemy team. You don't have a lot of really high intelligence heroes, so I can do a lot of damage with that. Steal some intelligence, just do a massive blast. Especially with the illusions that you're going to be creating on the people that are there. They're not high intelligence heroes, so I mean, everything's just going to die really quickly to it. So there's a lot of availability there. It feels like I don't have a lot there because I don't have necessarily stun. I don't necessarily have save because I have like 2 quasi stun saves with the OD and Shadow Demon, and you can have a problem there by having that. But honestly, I would not be using my Shadow Demon to save people, and that's why I picked it up. Like, once I saw the Luna, I was like, okay, I can totally pick OD now, because OD will be the one who's saving, and Shadow Demon will be the one who's going to be creating extra illusions of Luna. Because once Luna gets farm, and that's kind of the thing about the whole rotation thing, right? It's like, yeah, Luna's going to get hell of a lot of a farm. Okay, I still have Shadow Demon. I can still egg her or egg one of her illusions and do a lot of potential of pushing people back. So I just need to make sure he gets a 4-staff. And honestly, now that Shadow Poison at level 15, you can get 1 second off Shadow Poison, he clears waves pretty well at level 15. And he can do it as a single support on high ground. So it gives him farm potential to do that. I can farm off of a lot and just use my pushback between those 2 heroes. And then while that's happening, I have you have Sladar and Brew doing all their chaos that ensues, and you can hopefully lock down other people with Brew, because that's the thing with Brew, is you can lock down 2 people with his ultimate. And that's kind of what I was lacking, right? At that phase of the draft, I was like, okay, I really need some lockdown Brew ult. Brewalt will, for a team fight, will lock 2 people down. I can let Lifestealer tank hopefully 3 people and kill them while they're in the air or they're being stunned up. And Sladar Lifestealer is a lot of single target damage. Not only is it single target damage, it's single target uh, armor damage, whereas OD is single target magic damage and then has the AoE of magic. So honestly, I don't know if I win or lose. This is definitely one of our closest drafts we've ever had.
I definitely agree. I feel like this all depends on who's playing. Like it depends on the teams that you have and how they play. And I feel like a lot of the game-changing moments are going to be focused around objectives, around Roshan, or Smoke, and then catching off the Lifestealer or somebody in the jungle and then pushing an objective or something like that, or vice versa, catching a Luna farming the jungle and pushing with your Lifestealer who might be going Deso, or something like that. But I feel like a lot of it's going to be a base around Roche and base around Smokes, and I definitely think it's a pretty even draft. It just all boils down to better communication and what's the word I'm looking for? Just better communication and better
coordination.
Coordination, I guess.
Yeah, I think that works. I do like the CK pick. I did not see that coming at all, man. I got to give you props on that. I was like, a guy that Bristleback would have trouble, that would not work versus Bristleback, and I was like, man, who is he gonna pick here? Because there's a lot of potential for you to I was like, there's plenty of guys on the field. You could technically move stuff around and get someone who's decent versus it. Honestly, I was thinking like, okay, you could still pick up a Monkey King technically versus Bristleback and force me out as like a support. I know he's fallen out of favor, especially as a support now, but I saw the Jakiro maybe going into mid, but not a CK. Not a CK, my friend. That was a really good pick. Yeah. So, items. I did not go through items that I would have real quick. So, let's see if that would change any of your ideas. I'm going to have Force Staff on the Shadow Demon, like we were talking about before. That's basically probably all he's going to get until later on. You still want to get other things to keep people alive. You want to get those Force Staffs, those Glimmer Capes, the availability. If you can, if you have Force Staff and Glimmer Cape and stuff like that, getting a Aether Lens is actually very, very strong on the hero. Because he is just too far to... He's just too close to get initiated on versus any of the things that you're wanting to have happen, especially versus what Kimbrell has here. So if you were ever versus like an illusion-based hero and you want to take advantage of the illusions that Kimbrell would make, I would have the Aether Lens just so I could be further back and egg those illusions a little bit in a safer position. Because if he gets jumped, then I have to use my Astral on him, and then I've lost a lot of my CC already by just like trying to create some illusions. And that's just not worth it. So that's the items that you're going to be looking for him. Lifestealer, you're going to want your armlet into, like, maybe you're probably going to want phase boost, but you're going to want armlet into a Deso for sure. You just want to rip through people. You want to make sure that they go down when you attack them. So just focus single target damage. Sladar, classic Sladar, you're going to want Blink. You're going to want Tranquil Boots. You're going to want the availability, maybe even like a stick to stay alive, and Force Staff. A lot of movement. Movement's the name of the game. It's always something that's a big part of my drafts. Same thing with OD. Got to get that Force, either the Pike eventually. Got to get the Force Staff. Got to have a Midas maybe. But I actually wouldn't go Midas on this game because of Kimbrell's push potential. The Midas would put you in too weak of a lane, and Kimbrell would win by 20 minutes, guaranteed. So I would actually go Force early, maybe going into... BKB would probably be something I would go, because you have a lot of lockdown. You have a lot of physical damage, but you have a lot of lockdown. And honestly, on Brewmaster, especially as a support, he would be my 4 support, so I would try to get a Blink Dagger on him as well to initiate fights, because you can blink in and ult. But besides that, I would go Lotus Orb. Lotus Orb on him would be so crucial, because you can reflect a lot of what Kimbrell has, and you can take away a lot of the problems that come up. You can take away the ice vortex, or not ice vortex, but the cold feet. You can take away the stun potential from the CK, the Luna stun. There's a lot of availability, and there's just a lot of slows that are coming out that you can purge off of your body. So, really nice. Is there anything that you think that you would try to counter my counters there, Kimbrell?
I don't think so. The Lotus Orb is a good idea.
Oh! Sorry, I forgot. One more thing. Medallion. Medallion on Sladar, because that is way too much physical damage, and I would die in like 2 seconds if I put anyone up front.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Medallion's always good on a hero. A lot of people skip it, like, oh, I already have minus armor, and it's like, dude, think about how much minus armor, like how fast you're going to kill certain heroes with that. So, yeah, no, I still think even with the items, I still think it's just all boils down to play, and it boils down to communication and all that stuff, and how well your team handles things. One thing I did notice while looking at the screen was, you mentioned it, is the lockdown potential is crazy when you do the Underlord route. Say you have the dream team fight, right? An Underlord route gets all 5 people, and then you ice path and you get 3 to 5 people, and then you have the AA slow plus stun on somebody, and then you have the CK stun that gets 2 to 4 second stun, and then the Luna extra little bit of lockdown, though it's not very long. It's just like there's so much going on there. Then the AA blast, Jakiro lays down his ult, or the slow, and they're all slowed. It's just like, and then the Luna ult if it's needed. On top of all of that, you got the Underlord Rain of Fire coming down. So anyway, there's a lot of lockdown for the amount of magic damage that there is as well. So it's pretty, I thought that was kind of cool.
Most definitely. I also think that yours is way easier to execute. I think mine would be a lot harder to do. And
yeah,
that might make your draft actually a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely pretty simple. Like, I wouldn't say simple, but it's definitely easier, because it's like, okay, this is how the team fight's going to go. You're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and that's how it's going to go. And everyone's like, okay, and then, I mean, it's a lot easier to follow than, like, oh, hey, we need to save this person, and while we save them, jump on this person, and so, or set up on this person, and things like that, so.
Well, you create a murder box, man. Like, if you root a couple people, that is just a murder waiting to happen. Oh my god. So, the greatest thing about your draft that I really love is Jakiro AA. That is so much magic damage. Holy crap.
Like with the Veil on the Jakiro, it's going to be pretty fast. And then you have the AA Ice Vortex, which adds the magic damage. Yeah, it's quite a bit. And then you have the slow from Jakiro, then the ice path, and then everyone's chilling touch and just like bah. And yeah, it's a lot of magic damage. Like,
honestly, it's not even that, man. Like your ice vortex with your dual breath. That's gonna keep people there.
Right.
So
just ice vortex into dual breath into like Luna pops her ult. Like that's so much magic damage right there. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, I think we're done with the drafting section. I gotta give it to Kimbrell this week. You know what? I'm gonna call it. Kimbrell beat me. I'm going to lose the crown of drafting this week, and Kimbrell's got it once again. I guess we're gonna have to move on to, because it's getting late here on the recording. It's getting a little bit later. Let's rate these beers. So, how'd your beer sit with you today?
It's like I'm drinking like pop. Really, like that's what it feels like. It's like I'm drinking a bottle of some. I don't even know, man. It's I couldn't drink a whole lot of these. It's good. I can't lie. Like it's I mean, it tastes good. It's not gonna taste bad. It's fruity. It's very. I don't know. If I'm just gonna have like one or two, I'll give it like a 3.5. But if I'm gonna like, oh, I bought a 6-pack and I'm gonna drink them all, I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 or 3. There's no way I could do a 6-pack of this because my stomach's just like, dude, the amount of sodium or not sodium, sugar that you're putting in me is like insane. So, yeah, it's good, but it's not great. And my favorite so far has been the blueberry, where the one with the blueberry Jolly Rancher in it. So, but yeah, I can definitely see why these were popular back in the 90s, though. It definitely makes sense.
I can also see why your mom was super excited about it.
Oh yeah.
you know, actually, that sounds pretty good. Blueberry, because I've always wanted to try a drink with just a little hint of blueberry, because I've been talking to a friend of mine, and he talks about this beer that he doesn't remember the name of, and I've been trying to get him to remember, but it has like a hint of blueberry in it, and he says that it's not too overpowering, and I love the taste of blueberry, so I'm super.
I mean it's sorry to cut you off. It's not like overpowering. I mean, you're not even finishing. Let's see if the camera will pick it up. Like the Jolly Rancher is still kind of there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I mean, it takes it down a little bit. But it wasn't like super strong or anything. So yeah, I think you would like it.
Yeah, that sounds good. The Sam Adams, it's classic. Like you can't. I don't know. Like people who don't know Sam Adams, I don't think they've ever had a beer in their life. But it's basic. You know, it's your basic beer, and I'm gonna give it a 3. Nah, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. 2.5 for this. It's a Pilsner. Pilsners are fine and all, but I want something that packs a little bit more of a punch. And for how hoppy it is and how much like I need more force, need more good beer, and this is just not cutting it out. So I'm gonna give it 2.5. All right, so that is it. We're gonna have to close out the show because all good things must end, and I'm going to move over to there. So to help us out, you can subscribe or like any of our videos. If you want, you can go to our Twitch channel, and our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/ZombiePandaStudios, all one word. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is Zombie Panda Studios. If you're feeling extra generous, you can give to our Patreon at www.patreon.com, and you guessed it, Zombie Panda Studios. If you want to, you can follow me at my Twitter, my personal Twitter, at FlubbDota. You can follow Kimbrell at his personal Twitter, at @skimbrell_, or you can follow us both at our combined Twitter, at ZPandaStudios. If you want to, you can listen to our podcast instead of our VOD. Like I was saying, I'm still trying to figure it out. I will guarantee have it on SoundCloud, but I think I have to jump through some hoops for iTunes and Stitcher. So if you are a SoundCloud listener, then you will have no problem. But if you're getting it from iTunes or Stitcher, we might have to do some special jumping through hoops here in this next week. So we'll try to get that done for you. And last but not least, I wanted to thank our Patreons. Our Patreons are Tim Kaninsky, Ryan Ebel, and Justin McGuire. So thank you guys for giving to us for our Patreon. Really appreciate it. It's awesome that you guys were able to do that. Really appreciate it. So I want to also invite you guys to next week, obviously, if you guys want to stop by for a brand new Brewmaster's draft, or on Sunday you can catch me on the Flubb date. All right, guys. It was great, and we'll catch you next week. See you later.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Keeping it open for a little bit.